The Crew Motorfest is down from $70 to just under $7. This is an absolute steal if you want a buttery smooth open-world racer. It looks ridiculously gorgeous and the driving feels tight, whether you're in a sports car or a dirt bike. You drop into this massive Hawaiian island that's basically a giant playground for gearheads. The festival vibe is infectious and the vehicle variety is insane. For 90% off, you're getting hundreds of hours of top-tier racing content without breaking the bank. The Gunk is practically free at $1.24. This is a super chill action-adventure game where you explore an alien planet covered in toxic slime. You use a specialized power glove to vacuum up the mess and watch the dead world spring back to life. The art style absolutely slaps, and the puzzle solving is genuinely relaxing. It's a massive 95% off right now. If you need a cozy weekend game that looks stunning and plays smooth, this sleeper hit is exactly what you want. For Honor is down to $1.49. That's literally the price of a cheap cup of coffee for one of the most unique multiplayer fighting games ever made. The combat system is punishing, but incredibly rewarding once you master the parries and mind games. You get to clash as knights or Vikings or samurai in massive bloody battles. Yes, the learning curve is steep and it can be a bit grindy, but for a 95% discount, you get to experience top-tier melee action with a hardcore player base. Far Cry Primal drops you straight into the Stone Age for just under $3. Ubisoft stripped away the guns and gave us spears and clubs, and it honestly works so well. You're hunting massive beasts like woolly mammoths and taming saber-toothed tigers to fight by your side. The survival mechanics keep you on your toes, and the visceral melee combat feels incredibly satisfying. At 90% off, this is easily the most unique Far Cry experience you can get. The open world is gorgeous and absolutely deadly. Batman: The Telltale series is sitting at $5.24 right now. This is a massive 65% discount for a masterclass in interactive storytelling. Instead of just beating up thugs, you actually spend a lot of time as Bruce Wayne dealing with Gotham politics and making brutal choices. The comic book art style looks super sharp and the voice acting is top-notch. Your decisions actually shape the story in wild ways. If you want a gripping narrative experience where your choices matter, you need to grab this. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands is a total banger for under $10. You and up to 3 friends get dropped into a massive open-world Bolivia to dismantle a cartel piece by piece. The freedom of approach is insane here. You can go in guns blazing or coordinate sneaky stealth takedowns in the dead of night. The map is huge and packed with weapons and gear to unlock. For an 80% discount, this is simply one of the best co-op tactical shooters you can play right now. Hitman: World of Assassination Part 1 is an absolute must-buy at $2.99. This is the ultimate sandbox stealth game where you're given a target and total freedom on how to take them out. You can use poison or stage a tragic accident or just throw a rubber duck explosive. The levels are huge puzzles waiting to be broken, and the replay value is off the charts. Getting this 90% off is wild because it basically guarantees hours of hilarious and tense stealth gameplay. Industria is a heavily overlooked indie shooter that's currently under $3. You get pulled into a parallel universe version of Cold War Berlin right before the wall falls. The atmosphere is thick and moody, with a crazy steampunk vibe and some genuinely creepy robot enemies. It's a shorter experience, but the gunplay is solid and the story keeps you hooked the whole time. For an 88% discount, it's the perfect bite-sized shooter to play in one sitting if you love weird alternate history plots. Hell Let Loose drops to $12.49. If you're tired of arcade shooters and want hardcore, authentic World War II combat, this is it. You're fighting in massive 50 versus 50 battles, where communication is literally the difference between life and death. The sound design is terrifyingly good, and one bullet will usually drop you. It's definitely a slower, more tactical game that requires serious teamwork. At 75% off, this is the perfect time to jump into the trenches with your squad. Farmer's Life is sitting at $8.79. This isn't your typical cute farming sim. You play as an alcoholic farmer in Eastern Europe trying to keep his life together. It has a ton of jank, but in the most hilarious and endearing way possible. You're fixing up a rundown farm and dealing with wild weather and fighting off hungry wolves. It's equal parts survival game and rural life simulator. For over 50% off, it's a wonderfully weird and surprisingly deep game. Riders Republic is a total steal at $9.99. Imagine a massive multiplayer extreme sports playground where you can instantly swap between a mountain bike and a snowboard or a rocket wingsuit. The map is a beautiful mashup of famous US national parks, and the sense of speed is incredible. The massive races with dozens of other players are pure, beautiful chaos. If you miss the days of arcade extreme sports games, this 75% discount is your excuse to jump right in. Star Wars Outlaws has a massive 70% cut, bringing it down to $20. This is the ultimate open-world scoundrel fantasy fans have been asking for. You play as Che Vess, pulling off heists and double-crossing syndicates across some gorgeous planets. The stealth can be a little clunky sometimes, but the world building is absolutely phenomenal. Flying your ship and getting into dogfights feels fantastic. At this price, the rough edges are easy to ignore, and you get a massive cinematic adventure that looks incredible. Tom Clancy's The Division 2 is basically free at $2.99. This is easily one of the best looter shooters on the market, and the amount of content you get for $3 is insane. The recreation of a ruined Washington, D.C. is incredibly detailed, and the cover-based shooting feels amazing. Min-maxing your gear and running raids with a squad is ridiculously addictive. For a massive 90% discount, you and your friends will easily sink hundreds of hours into this one. Watch Dogs Legion drops to $8.99. The main gimmick here is that you can recruit and play as literally anyone you see on the streets of near-future London. Want to clear a gang hideout playing as a grandma who happens to be a retired spy? You can totally do that. The hacking mechanics let you turn the entire city into a weapon. The story is decent, but the sandbox freedom is where this game shines. An 85% discount makes this a no-brainer. Vampire is an absolute steal at $3.99. You play as a doctor turned vampire in 1918 London during a massive flu epidemic. The catch is that you get the most experience points by feeding on the citizens you're supposed to be saving. The combat is definitely on the clunky side, but the moral choices and the atmosphere are incredible. Your decisions literally change the fate of entire city districts. For 90% off, this is a dark narrative RPG that totally hooks you in. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 is sitting under $20 right now. This is pure, unadulterated power fantasy, where you play as a massive super soldier, ripping through hordes of alien monsters. The sheer scale of the battles happening on screen is jaw-dropping. It's a bloody, brutal hack-and-slash shooter that perfectly captures the grim-dark vibe of the tabletop game. Even if you know nothing about Warhammer, the buttery smooth combat will win you over. A 67% discount for a game this epic is rare. High on Life drops to $9.99, and it's still one of the funniest games out there. It's a colorful sci-fi shooter where your guns literally talk to you. The humor is very specific and hits perfectly if you love adult animation comedy. The shooting mechanics are surprisingly tight, and the boss fights are completely unhinged. You'll be exploring weird alien worlds and doing bounty hunter missions while your weapons crack jokes the whole time. 75% off is a great deal. Elite Dangerous is heavily discounted down to $5.99. This is a massive 1-to-1 scale simulation of the Milky Way galaxy. You start with a tiny ship and can become whatever you want: a bounty hunter, a space trucker, or a deep space explorer. The flight mechanics are complex and really satisfying to learn. Be warned that this game is a massive time sink and the grind is real. But for a 70% discount, there's no better space sim on the market.
Battle Brothers is down to $8.99. This is a brutal, low-fantasy tactical RPG where you manage a gritty mercenary company. You're hiring recruits and buying gear and taking on contracts to hunt down bandits or monsters. The turn-based combat is incredibly punishing, and permanent death means every mistake costs you dearly. The hand-drawn art style gives it a very tabletop feel. If you love hardcore strategy games and min-maxing your squad, this 70% discount is an easy pickup. Skull and Bones is sitting at just $5.99. At full price, this game caught a lot of heat, but for an 80% discount, it's actually a pretty solid pirate ship simulator. You spend your time upgrading your vessel and customizing your cannons to take down merchant ships and sea monsters. The naval combat feels weighty and the water effects look ridiculously good. If you treat it like an arcade ship battler rather than a deep RPG, it's a ton of fun for $6. Empires of the Undergrowth is a super unique strategy game down to $8.99. You're literally managing an ant colony. You dig out your underground nest and manage your workers while fighting off terrifying bugs and rival colonies on the surface. It plays a lot like a classic real-time strategy game, but with a really cool nature documentary vibe. The swarm mechanics are awesome to watch. A 70% discount makes this a brilliant sleeper hit for anyone who loves base building and weird concepts. Steep is an absolute classic, going for $4.59 right now. Before Riders Republic, this was the ultimate snowy mountain playground. You can snowboard or ski or paraglide across a massive open-world version of the Alps. The physics strike a perfect balance between arcade fun and realistic weight. It's genuinely one of the most relaxing games to just boot up and free ride down a massive peak while listening to music. For an 85% discount, it's an essential library edition. Kenshi drops to $11.99. This game is the definition of a brutal sandbox survival RPG. You start as an absolute nobody who will probably get beaten up and robbed in the first 10 minutes. But if you survive, you can slowly build a massive squad and construct your own city and wage war against entire factions. The graphics are pure jank, but the gameplay depth is unmatched. A 60% discount is the perfect excuse to lose 100 hours in this massive wasteland. Slime Rancher is practically stealing at $4.99. You play as a rancher on an alien planet whose only job is to capture and feed adorable bouncy slimes. It's the ultimate cozy game where you explore vibrant biomes and upgrade your farm equipment. The gameplay loop of collecting slimes and selling their plorts is super addictive and relaxing. It looks incredibly colorful and runs buttery smooth on almost any hardware. 75% off is a crazy good deal for pure, wholesome fun. Disco Elysium, the final cut, is down to $9.99. This is hands down one of the greatest RPGs ever written. You play as an amnesiac detective trying to solve a murder in a wildly strange and political world. There's no traditional combat here. Instead, everything happens through dialogue and skill checks where your own fractured thoughts argue with you in your head. The writing is incredibly sharp and fully voice-acted. For 75% off, you're getting a literal masterpiece of storytelling. Insurgency Sandstorm hits a great price point at $8.99. If Call of Duty is too arcadey for you, then you need to play this. It's a hardcore tactical shooter where lethality is extremely high and teamwork is required. The weapon handling feels incredibly realistic, and the sound design is absolutely terrifying when you're under fire. You'll be checking your corners and moving slowly. At 70% off, this is a fantastic pickup for fans of gritty, realistic, modern combat. Blacktail is a massive hidden gem marked down to $5.99. You play as a young Baba Yaga who gets exiled from her village and has to survive in a dark, mythical forest. It's a really cool mix of first-person archery combat and survival mechanics with a deep morality system. You can choose to become a protector of the woods or an evil witch. The surreal art style looks totally unique and gorgeous. An 80% discount makes this dark fairy tale a must-play. Norland drops down by half price to $14.99. Think of this as RimWorld meets Crusader Kings. You're managing a noble family in a medieval kingdom and trying to keep them from killing each other. You have to handle peasant revolts and crazy religious cults and dramatic family betrayals. The simulation runs deep, and the emergent stories that happen naturally are hilarious and chaotic. For a 50% discount, this colony sim is incredibly addictive and will easily eat up your entire weekend. Green Hell is practically stealing at $2.79. You play as a hardcore survival game that drops you straight into the Amazon rainforest with zero handholding. You have to monitor everything from your macronutrients to your mental sanity while dealing with diseases and predators. The crafting system is super immersive, and the jungle looks incredibly lush and dangerous. At 90% off, this is basically the price of an energy drink for one of the most intense survival experiences on Steam right now. Jurassic World Evolution 2 drops down to $17.99. Building your own dinosaur theme park has never looked this good. You get tons of customization options for your enclosures, and the dinosaurs look and behave incredibly realistically. The management mechanics require you to keep your guests happy while making sure your massive carnivores don't break out and eat everyone. It's a fantastic park builder that scratches that classic movie itch. A 70% discount makes it totally worth grabbing today.